objects. I have a couple to show you today, both of which I'm really very pleased with. The first is my For the Love of Spiders shawl by Melanie Berg. I wanted to knit this forever. It's been on my to-do list for such a long time, and I purchased the yarn for it at Rhinebeck from Foster Sheep Farm. It's gorgeous, gorgeous yarn, and I just love knitting locally whenever I can. So I know where the sheep came from. I know where this yarn came from. So this is really, it just makes me very, very happy. So this is this is the pattern. I haven't blocked it yet. This is one of those things I'm gonna block it out on my mother-in-law's laundry line in her backyard when the weather's a little bit nicer. But I'm really happy with how it came out. It's quite large. It's lovely, and as I said, it's kind of bunched up still because it hasn't been blocked. Now, on this, along with my mantra, I think I was showing you the wrong side, so this is the right side. There we go. Along with my mantra that it's only knitting, I made a mistake on this shawl. And you can see there's a patterning section here, which is kind of the spiders, and I think you can see it really well actually on the camera here, on the video. But this side is perfectly fine. This side, however, has this line where it looks too green. It really should be some blue in there. And this is a pattern that has a lot of slip stitches, and you move the contrasting yarn in the front. Sometimes you're moving it in the back. So there's a lot to keep track of, and I obviously did not keep track of that on this particular row, as you can see. Now, probably a lot of people wouldn't be too bothered by that, and I wouldn't in the long run be bothered with it, but there's an easy fix to this. So I'll show you next time. After I block it, I will do this. You can see, man, I don't know if you can see it up close right there. But anyway, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a blue, take some of the blue yarn, because I have some left over, and just run it through and make a stitch in front of each of those slip stitches, so it looks as if I had slipped the blue yarn in front. So there's always some kind of little trick that you can do, and once that's done, you will not even know that that's a mistake. But again, you can see it. It's pretty glaring. I must have been off one count on one side and not the other, because it's all one row, but it's obviously happened on one side. And once I realized that I had done it, I was way too far down to bother to want to tink back on it. But other than that, I really like this, and it's totally user error on this. But this is really beautiful. It's just going to be great to wrap around. It's going to be very, very warm. It's very soft and squishy, and it'll probably be even softer after I give it a soak and hang it outside, as long as it doesn't freeze. But no, I'm really very pleased with this, and when I show it to you again, I'll have that little error fixed. We'll see how that went. The second finished project that I have, other than I did all my hats for Christmas. I can't remember what I had said last time, but I was knitting hats for my nieces and nephews to send for Christmas, and I took care of all that. I did that, got those right out, and they really liked them. I had a great picture for my brother of them all wearing it. I think if I remember, I'll put a picture in at the end, because it's really pretty. It's pretty cute. But the second finished object that I completed is called the Curl Curl Shawl, and it's by Meg Gatsby. She's an Australian Australian designer, and I just finished this last night. So again, this isn't blocked either, and there's a little drop stitch there. I did this knitting at night, and as you can see, the colors are so dark, and especially where I was doing that, I was just going too fast, and I just must have slipped a stitch. So basically all I'm going to do here, I just have caught it with a little progress keeper, and I'm just going to take some of the yarn, I'm just going to pull it through and tack it in the back. I'm not going to try to pull it all the way up. That would be kind of crazy. But no one will ever know that that's there. But that's just a little trick. If you do find a slip stitch a little too farther down than you want to change, just catch it, and then just pull it in the back, and and tack it in, and literally no one will ever see this. And once I do it, I probably won't even be able to find where it is again either. I have to weave the ends in, but that's fine. So this is a curl column. What's really nice about this, it curls up at the bottom, because it's basically just a stockinette in the round. You just keep knitting all the way around. But there are some decreases right along here, so it actually brings it in a little bit, so it's not so floppy. and it really can keep your neck warm. This is probably going to be a gift. This is out of Handspun. You can see the beautiful colors. I really like the colors of this. This is Handspun Merino. It's gorgeous. I think I got it at the Fiber Revival when I went back over the summer, but it's been sitting taunting me, not sure what to do with it. And then I ran into this pattern. I knew it was probably going to be a hat or a cowl, and I just thought this was perfect, and I just love it. I didn't do anything special when I spun this. I kind of just split the yarn and let it go, but you still have a lot of striping in it, which is really, 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 really pretty. I think it's really gorgeous. I love these colors. This is kind of my favorite color palette, this deep dark purples and blues and some really dark almost black in it. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I'm very happy with this. And as I said, all I need to do is just fix that little error and weave in the ends and block it, and we're good to go. So I'm really pleased. I'm very, very pleased with this. Okay, those are my 2 finished objects. Sadly, I thought I was going to get to do a lot of spinning over the break, but I didn't. I think, what's happened was that I was really concentrating on getting the For the Love of Spiders shawl done. I really just, every time I sat down, I pulled that out because I just felt that I was getting so close to the end of it. I think I've said this before, but usually I kind of tend to get to a tipping point on a project, especially a large project like a shawl, where once I get to that point, I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I just really want to keep on going, so I tend to be somewhat monogamous when I get to that point, and I think that's what I was doing during my week off. But I'm really happy because I'm super pleased with that. So now let's move on to some works in progress. Progress. I have quite a few. I really started quite a bit this week. The first I want to show you is my Sanderson Sisters socks, and this is a pattern by my friend Sarah Losey. And oops, I'm stuck. Yarn is stuck. And it's a beautiful sock pattern. It's very simple but very elegant, I think. And this is, I can stick my, oop, I see what I did. Oh my gosh, stick my hand in this. So you can see this here. It's a very simple slip stitch pattern that's going to go up one side of the sock, and then on the other sock I'll do this on the other side, so it mirrors each other. I'm actually doing these socks toe up. I'm using my usual recipe for them. So I'm doing toe up socks, so then I'll do the pattern on the top of the foot and also on the leg. And I usually do the fish slips kiss heel, which is what I've done here on this one. So I'm almost, this is my bus commuting knittings, sometimes lunchtime knitting, so I'm pretty close. I'm actually on the leg on this one already, so I'm looking forward to moving on to the second sock pretty quickly. Now that I'm commuting every day, I'm going to get a lot of pairs of socks, I think, done this year, which is really great. And I'm using, this is awesome, isn't it? Love this. I love it. I love it. It's so great. I am using a very precious skein of Desert Vista Dye Works yarn that I purchased earlier in the year, and it is in her Peppermint Hot Chocolate colorway, which is just perfect. I love the reds. I love the dark chocolate brown and the whites. I just think it's really perfect, and I like the self-striping with just a little bit of texture in it on that side, so that's really why I wanted to use this pattern, and I think it's going to look perfect on this sock. I'm really one of those people that I really don't knit just plain vanilla socks too often, because I just find I get burnt out by doing this. So I really like to have a pattern that has a little bit of, you have to think about it a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit at least to keep the interest going. And I think something like this works really well on self-striping socks, because you will be able to see a little bit of the pattern, even though the yarn is very striking in its self-striping loveliness. So I'm very happy with these. I'm really looking forward to getting the second one done and getting to wear them. So that's my first project. My second project that I'm working on is actually a brand new cast on, which I just did last night. So this is going, it looks very small, but it will grow. This is going to be, or it's going to be a sockhead hat. So that's by Kelly McClure. Everyone in their mother, brother, sister, husband, wife has done one of these, and I really like this pattern. It's so much fun to do, and it's so easy to do. So the sockhead hat has a big brim on it, and then you just it's a knit two purl two rib on it, and you do that probably, I forget what it is, maybe 4 or 5 inches, and then you knit the body of the hat, and that is totally just stockinette. So you're just knitting around and around, and you do that until I think the whole hat is like about 9 inches. So it's a slouchy hat, but this is going to be fun. This actually probably be a gift as well. I'm really like trying to be forward thinking this year, getting some needed gifts done. But I think this will be really fun, a fun hat to give away. And this is in the Helga Hufflepuff colorway by Loops that I purchased earlier in the year. So this is really fun. I'm really looking forward to keeping going with this project. The third project I actually haven't started yet, but I just thought I would talk about a little bit. And the yarn I'm going to use for this project is my friend Kayleen's Little Bean Loves Crochet. She is she's on Etsy, Little Bean Crochet at Etsy.com. But Kayleen lives here in Marblehead. If you remember, if you saw my one of the episodes I did back over the summertime, I discovered a friend of mine let me know that Kayleen actually is someone living right here in Marblehead. She lives just a couple of blocks away from me, actually, and she is a yarn dyer, and she dyes beautiful, gorgeous yarns. And so once I discovered that, we got in contact, and I ordered 2 skeins of yarn from her, or I ordered a skein of yarn from her. And I ended up getting 2 skeins, and I just love it. This is the colorway called Omelets at Midnight. And it was a limited production dye. So you can see this gorgeous color. I'm not sure if you can see it. It has tons of sparkle in it. It's beautiful kind of midnight blues and really super dark blues. And it's just, it's gorgeous. I have it in my knitting sock. Remember, I got these in a swap years and years ago, but I think it's a great idea. So then you don't lose, it helps keep your wound up ball of yarn, cake of yarn together. So it's not falling apart, and if it's collapsing in on itself, that's fine. It still all stays together. I always have a problem with the outside, the outside piece of the yarn, or then the bottom kind of starts falling all apart. So I really like to use these. And if I only have one of these, so what I do, I think I have something else. Oh, I do. I've shown this before, but I think it's such a great tip. You don't have to have one of these specifically, because what I do, so this is my Sanderson sisters, the Hufflepuff yarn. I just stick it in a sock. Everybody has an extra sock. Come on, tell me you don't have an extra sock hanging around somewhere. So I just do the exact same thing and stick it in the sock. And so then I'm just pulling it out. It keeps the yarn caked together. But people are out, my husband's like, what are you doing there? And I'm like, just using what's at my disposal, taking care of things. So another tip or trick you can always use, but it works really, really well. Anyway, so gorgeous, super gorgeous yarn. And with this yarn, I am going to cast on probably today. Let me see if I can find the front of it. It is called it's called the Yellow Roses Shawl by Clothesline Designs, and this is it right here. Isn't that gorgeous? It's going to be super, super, super beautiful. This pattern was gifted to me by Melinda of the Yarn to Woman podcast, and the Yellow Roses, it's really kind of special. It is Yellow Roses is the last in a trio of shawls inspired by my grandmother's flower garden scarf. This one is dedicated to my Fraser, who lost his battle with mental health in 2010 at age 30. Although you can knit this in any color, Yellow Roses became important to Fraser's mom and I after his death. So I think the Yarn to Woman had done a special. She had done a special, or talked a little bit about mental health issues and how important it is for us to be aware of those, and really just consider them the same as a medical issue. There really is no difference between a mental health issue and a medical issue. And my family has certainly been touched by mental health issues in the past. But she gifted me this pattern, so I thought I would do it. I think it's really special and beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think this yarn is going to be beautiful with it. Once it gets blocked out, you'll really be able to see the lace, and I think it will be gorgeous. especially because it's a little bit sparkly. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's sparkly yarn. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy with that. So I'm looking forward to that. I just caked that up yesterday, and I'm going to get that on the needles probably today. And then, of course, I have promised this. Let's get it out here. I did start my Bruntsfield vest. Clap, 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 yay! I did start it, and I'm actually very, very excited about this. So, again, this is another great tip. I have, you can always get a ton of these plastic covers, but I really like them because I can stick the pattern in and then use some of the tape, so you can actually see right where you are, and you're not actually taping to the paper. Anyway, I like to do it, and then if I need to change it, I'll just pull it out here. But so this is the Bruntsfield vest by Isolde Teague. And this was gifted to me. I won this in an Instagram. I won the pattern in an Instagram contest by Vero from the Canadian Knitter Along the Lanes podcast. And so I've had this for a while, and I've been planning it. As if you've watched me, you know that I've been planning on doing this. And I've done all the coloring and making sure and doing the swatching for what colors I'm going to use. I didn't like the first one that came out. And so I've changed that up a couple of times, and I'm really happy with the way it's turning out now. I still have all my balls in here. This is a new bag that I got. I actually won this from Maureen, the Victorian Studio podcast. Isn't this gorgeous? This is so awesome. And I hadn't caught up on podcasts, and that's what I was doing over break. And actually, this came in the mail before I even knew that I was a winner. That was great. It was such a wonderful surprise. I'm like, oh, and it's quilted. It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. But it's big and roomy enough because I have many balls of yarn to do this project. So I'm using the Pix palette. It's my go-to yarn, as you all know. But I really like it, and I am working on the vest. So I finished the ribbing on the bottom, and then I switched, and now I'm actually working on the Fair Isle pattern. And I think it's coming out very nicely. I'm very excited about it. Next time you'll be able to see more. I'm trying to do a few rows a week. It actually doesn't take that long. Once you get back into the rhythm of doing Fair Isle, I don't do it very often. I did that big boho sweater this past year, but once you kind of get into the rhythm of it, it's really not. It's not too. It's just knitting. It's not too bad. Color work's the easy part. Because in Fair Isle you're only using 2 colors per row. The colors may change each row, but you're only using 2 colors on each row. And I've really been practicing, so I'm using the two-handed method. So I have my main color in my right hand, and I have my contrasting color in my left hand. So I'm using the throwing method and then the continental method, and that seems to work for me. And the tension is pretty good. The back looks nice. I don't seem to be having too much trouble. I really try to do this fairly loosely. I'm definitely not I'm not a tight knitter at all. So actually, my tension is probably pretty good for actually doing Fair Isle. I'm very, very pleased with this. Very pleased. It's going to take me a long time. So this is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater vest. It's actually a vest, but this is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater for next year when we go to Rhinebeck. So I'm giving myself plenty of time to do this because it's a steeked thing as well. So it steeks in here on the chest, and it also steeks in the armholes. Never done steeking before, so this will be the first time for me. I'll deal with that when I get there. I have a lot of rows to go before I get to the steeking. Part of it, so I will be expert at doing the Fair Isle part before I get to that. So I'll be a little scary, but I'll be able to do it because it's just knitting. But I'm really happy with this. Very happy with this. Very pleased. And what's nice about it, and probably most of Fair Isle knitting patterns are like this. It's a 24 It's a 24 count repeat on each row. So once you can easily, I'm a better person with charts than I am reading written Fair Isle or lace patterns written out. So I really like the charts, and it's great. It's much easier for me to look at the chart and be able to, and I can count because I can see where I am in the 24 repeat 24 stitch repeat for that particular pattern. So once you can do that, and it's actually a nice thing to do too, because if I have to stop in the middle of a row, I make sure that I stop at the end of a 24 count repeat. So then I know when I pick it up again, I don't really have to think about it. Is that okay? So I'm just going to start at number one again, and then move on from there. And that makes it really simple, because sometimes this is pretty big. I forget how many stitches there are, but it's pretty big, and that does happen. Sometimes you may have to put it down in the middle of a row and do something. But if I keep up that 24 count, that's an easy thing for me to do, and then I can pick it right up again, and I'm not off at all. And it's always good to check it every now and again and kind of make sure that you're on track. Because as we all do, we're watching TV or doing something else, and you're like, just going along. So it's always a good idea to kind of check it as you go. But keeping that 24 count in my head works really well for me. So I'm assuming next time you'll see a lot more progress on this. I'm very, 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 very happy. I'm very happy with this. All right, so let's move on, and I think we'll talk about some knit-alongs that I'm going to be doing this year. I've gone down the rabbit hole of the knit-alongs. Some people have gone down the rabbit hole of the find your fade shawl. I'm not going to do that. Some people have gone down the rabbit hole of the crochet blanket. I'm not going to do that either. But I've sucked into some knit-alongs, and they're year-long knit-alongs too. So, but that's always a fun thing to do. The first one I'm going to participate in, is the Wonders of the World knit-along, and this is put together by a bunch of different podcasters. It's starting out with Grace of the Babel's Traveling Yarns podcast, and if you look her up on YouTube, they have put together a kind of a trailer for the knit-along, and the idea is to knit around the world this year. So we're starting out in Australia, New Zealand, and basically what you want to do, you can pick maybe yarn that you have from an Australian or New Zealand yarn dyer, or a pattern from an Australia or New Zealand yarn designer, or both, or as I said, singly or together, and knit something from that area of the world. And so that's what I did with my Curl cowl is from, because Meg Gadsby is from Australia, so she's an Australian designer, so I knit that up. So that's going to be my first submission into that knit-along, and then it's going to go around the world. And I don't remember the direction that it's going or where it goes next, but I do know that the Bakery Bears are participating in it. Pink Hair Girl Knits in South Africa is participating in it. Knit Knacker in, I believe she's in Singapore, so we're doing Asia, and the Canadian Knitter, so that's North America, and I think that's it. But if you look up Wonders of the World, if you search in the groups tab in Ravelry, there's a separate there's a thread on each of those particular podcast groups, but there's also a separate Wonders of the World Cal group on Ravelry where you can get all the information for it. It just looks like so much fun. Dan, all the podcasters put together little videos, and I think Dan of the Bakery Bears put it together in a trailer, and it's very, very fun. It's very, very funny. Even if you're not going to participate, you should look up that trailer, because it was really pretty. It was really pretty cute and pretty fun. So that's the first one that I'm participating in. I'm looking forward to it. And that was that. I've been looking, like the yarn that I used for the Curl cowl. I just have been looking at that. I spun that earlier this year, and I've been looking at it, and so it was really just a great opportunity to finally pick it up and say, do something with this. I love to knit with my own hand spun, and I don't do it enough, so I really enjoyed doing that. So that's the first one. The second one, the Bakery Bears are having a Phineas Fogg knit along. Again, I don't remember if it's just for patrons or whether it's for everybody, but I'm a patron of the Bakery Bears, and it's such a fun idea. It ties in with the around the world again, and basically what we're doing is we are knitting, and every time you knit a project, that adds up to miles. And so Kay and Dan are going to put maps together to show exactly how far along in the world, starting out in England, the group has come in knitting miles. And the same thing we also have a group over on Runkeeper, so we're actually exercising for the year and adding up those miles. And there's a little bit of a competition between the runners and the knitters to see who can make it around the world faster. I'm doing both. You can do both. I'm not actually running. I'm usually as I've said before, I usually use the rowing machine, and I plan to get to be able to start to use either the walking machine or they have lots of different bikes at work at lunchtime. You just log it as miles run. So it's all by mileage, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's very encouraging. And we'll see how it goes. I know people tend to be really gung-ho in January as far as exercising, but I have a feeling with this group that they're pretty serious. So I'm really looking forward to all the encouragement and to kind of keep on going. It's fun for me. It keeps me going, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how far along we get. I think we're actually somewhere in France already, which is really amazing. So that's pretty exciting. And then the third year-long knit-along that I'm going to participate in is the Victorian Studio Podcast. Maureen is setting up or has set up a year-long Harry Potter knit-along. I know. I'm Harry Potter all year, always. But this will be really fun. Maureen's such a sweetheart, and she just loves Harry Potter. And I know she's been making all kinds of different prizes for people to win. I know she's been making stitch markers and things, and of course she makes beautiful bags. So I'm really looking forward to that. So my first project for that is going to be the sockhead hat. So because I'm doing that out of Olube's Helga Hufflepuff yarn, so that's perfect. So again, you can, it just has to be a pattern that ties into Harry Potter, be yarn that ties into Harry Potter, so something along those lines, and you can participate. And she's going to have some great prizes every month. So I think that's really fun, and I have some ideas of what I would like to do for the remainder of the year on that. So I'm really looking forward to it. So those are my knit-alongs for right now. We'll see if anything else gets added in as we go along. So I think now we'll move on to some chatter. What has been happening? Well, I feel much better. Over the last couple of days, I've been very sick. I caught some kind of a stomach bug. Ugh, it was not pleasant. I mean, I think this is the danger of working with college students. I'm assuming that's kind of where I picked it up. Oh, I had to come home from work, and I did not go to work yesterday. It just wasn't happening. But I feel so much better today, so I'm very, very happy with that, because sometimes those things can linger on, and it's not pretty. But I feel so much better today. And I'm glad I didn't get sick over the break. We had a great holiday break, so my school closes down between Christmas Eve and New Year's, which was really nice. And this year, because the holidays were on Sundays, they were observed on Monday, so we actually got a little extra time off as well. So that was really nice. But now we're back, and the students are back, and it's a little bit crazy, and that's all good. But we had a really nice Christmas holiday. We had our tree, as you saw the last time, but now it's down. Got that taken down. Took all the Christmas decorations down and put away for next year. We had a very nice Christmas Eve. We had dinner with my in-laws, but then we came back here. Oh, and earlier in the day, I Skyped with Sophia, because Sophia was in England for Christmas. She decided to do that. She has a friend, Emma, who is studying at the University of Sussex in Brighton, England. So that's in the south of England. So Sophia went to visit her because she had 2 weeks off from school. So she went to visit her for a week in England and had a delightful time. I'm sure you've probably seen some of the pictures on Instagram, but I'll add them too at the end so you can see. She just loved it, and it was really interesting because I think one of her comments that she made to me was that it was really interesting that first day to kind of walk down the street and not be the odd person out because of course she's, you know, a little American girl, redhead in Japan, and she certainly sticks out like a sore thumb. Everybody knows that she's obviously not Japanese, and it's such a small town that they know she's the new teacher in town, etc. So just to have that feeling of real anonymity again, it's something that you don't really think of. But because she lives in Japan, I didn't really feel that way when I visited, but I was just visiting, so I was still like enamored, and everything was very new. I really wasn't thinking what people were thinking about me. But because she lives there all the time, I think she's, you know, she has that, you know, she gets that, certainly get that feeling that she's not anonymous at all. And she just said it was just so nice to just walk down the street and be completely anonymous in England again. So I thought that was very interesting. But the girls had a great time. We Skyped and we did our Christmas Eve cast on together, which was super fun. I had yarn sent to both girls. From Zena, Little Yellow Ukes, and they both loved them. And it was such a great idea. I was like, oh, I was so psyched because I didn't want to. I didn't have Christmas stuff to send from here and have to send it to England and the whole thing. And I know there's issues in England for people if you send them things, depending upon the cost of the item, they have to pay an extraordinary import tax on them. And I didn't really want them to have to do that, so I ordered yarn from Zena. So it just got sent from England to England, which was great. And they loved the yarn. And then I also had 2 bags sent to them from Sarah's Texture Crafts, also in England, from England to England. So that really worked out very, 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 very well. It was really, I think they were really super excited and surprised to get those. So we were all able to do our Christmas Eve cast on with Danny of the Little Bobbins podcast, and I really enjoyed doing that. Those are my Sanderson socks. That's what I cast those on Christmas Eve, which was really it's just a nice, fun tradition. It's just fun to do, to think that knitters all over the world are doing exactly the same thing on the same day. So that was really kind of nice. I really enjoyed that. Christmas, I got some gorgeous things. I had put together a list, and super secret elf Sophia helped my husband complete the Christmas list. He was very bummed this year because usually Sophia helps him with wrapping. She wasn't here this year to do that, so he was pretty bummed that he had to do Christmas wrapping himself. But he did a great job. And so these are a couple of things that I received. They're beautiful. Oh my gosh. I got this gorgeous. It is superwash merino from Countess Ablaze. I have Countess Ablaze. I love it. Oh, I have been coveting her fiber forever. I mean, ever since I, got into Instagram and Ravelry and started seeing the colors that she did. But look at these colors. They are gorgeous. They are amazing. I love them, and it's so super soft. It's beautiful. I can't wait to spin this up. And then the other thing that she had in depth is, oh my gosh, this also is Countess Ablaze. And look at this. I think it's not quite as blue. It's more of a lighter turquoise color, but it's gorgeous. It is called Bitter Salt Water, and it is merino and tussa silk. Oh my goodness. So yes, they did well. They did well together. And then I actually had put together kind of a list, a couple of things that I wanted. No surprise here. I finally got Alice Starmore's book of Fair Isle Knitting. Yes. And I really like this. It has some really great stories, about Fair Isle, the history of Fair Isle knitting. But really what she has in here, the benefit of this book is that she has all of these different charts for, different Fair Isle patterns. So you can make your own. You could put something together for your own. I'm probably not quite that brave yet, but I think I would. I could do something like this, maybe like, I'm always intrigued with those hot water bottle cozies, especially at this time of the year. It'd be really nice to just have a nice hot water bottle to put at the bottom of the bed. So maybe at some point, that's probably something like that I would do, kind of put together some of these patterns maybe, and pick the colors and do something like that, which would be really fun. But I'm really happy, and I'm really looking forward to kind of looking through and reading this book kind of, at my leisure. So I'm very happy with this. The second book that I got, and this was totally enabled by the Fruity Knitting podcast. I actually have seen this book before, and I had got it out at the library originally. It was pretty expensive, but I think it's come down in price now. It's been out for a few years. But again, Alice Starmore, and it's called Tudor Roses. It is so gorgeous, so gorgeous. And I know Andrea, the Fruity Knitting podcast, has knit several of these patterns. They're pretty complicated. I mean, I know it's just knitting, but these are some complicated patterns. But they're beautiful. The photography is by Jade Starmore, so Alice Starmore's daughter. And they are simply gorgeous. So Tudor Roses they're based all on the Tudor women. So you've got Elizabeth of York, and you have Anne Boleyn, and you have all of these different Tudor women. And so there's a little story about each of them. This is gorgeous. Just some beautiful, beautiful patterns. And this is one of those books that I wanted to have. Not that I'm necessarily going to do one of these. I may at some point do one of these beautiful, beautiful patterns. But I really wanted it more kind of for inspiration. I just love taking it out, and it's put together so beautifully. This actually, though, is one of the patterns. This is not Fair Isle, but this is Anne of Cleves, and this is gorgeous. Isn't that gorgeous? And I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but maybe this will be Rhinebeck Sweater 2018. It's really beautiful, and it just like hits all my buttons. I love the sleeve on it. I love the beauty of the patterning on it, and it's long sleeve, and it's just, yeah, this has got my name written all over it, and I really like this one. So perhaps Rhinebeck 2018. What do you think? Anyway, I really super excited about this. I just love it, and I just pick it up and like, oh, it's beautiful. I love having this now. So I was very, very happy with that. And then we had another really fun thing. Silly fun thing happened. My brother-in-law Paul, his daughter Katie, so Sophia's cousin Katie is my niece Katie is getting married in July, and her husband-to-be is from from Massachusetts. They're actually getting him married in Connecticut, I think. Anyway, my mother-in-law invited his parents and his grandparents to come for kind of a Christmas luncheon. So this was during the week between Christmas and New Year's. I forget what they were all doing, but they were kind of converging in this area. And so they all came over for lunch. So it was Katie and her husband-to-be, his parents, his grandparents, my in-laws, my brother-in-law and his wife, and Mark and myself. So we had 12 people. Is that what that adds up? 12 people for lunch. And it was one of those situations where nobody really had met each other. I don't think Paul had actually even met, my brother-in-law had actually met Katie's fiance's parents yet. So it was all one of those, like, oh, we're all going to get together and nobody really knows, awkward. What do you talk about? All we have in common are the two kids that are getting married, just one of those. My poor husband was like, oh, this is not going to be fun. But we got there, and for some reason we started talking, and somebody mentioned Milford, Mass., which is where my father-in-law, Nori, grew up. And it turns out that Chris's grandfather had also grown up in Milford. And then they got talking a little bit more. And they're like, what year did you graduate from high school? Well, I graduated from high school in 1954, I think. And my father-in-law was like, I graduated in 1954. Wait a minute. And it turns out, unbelievable, that they were in the same high school class. How random is that? Same high school class. My father-in-law even went upstairs and found his old yearbook and brought it down, and there they both were. They didn't really know each other too much in high school. My father-in-law was in the band. Everybody, when you're in high school, you have all these different interests and things, and so I don't think they really crossed paths too much, but they knew mutual friends. They each had memories of mutual friends, and they just got talking, and they had actually been to reunions together and just didn't realize it. It was amazing, and that just changed everything. It changed the tone of the whole afternoon, if you can imagine. So there's all these connections going on that were crazy. We just could not, how could you even write that story? I mean, it's like almost too good to be true. Katie and Chris met in school. I think they were going to school. Where were they going? In Pennsylvania somewhere. So I mean, they had never ever put that, put the two together at all, and it was just so funny. It was so amazing. It was so interesting, and so that's also going to make the wedding in July a lot more fun. It was amazing. It was just one of those really crazy, amazing stories that it was really fun to be a part of. Unbelievable. What else is happening today? We're having a snowstorm. This is going to be the first. It snowed a little bit yesterday, but today we're going to finally get a snowstorm. They come up the coast. When they come up the coast, usually if they come from the west, we really usually don't get them. They kind of peter out before they get here to the coast, and they dump most of their, most of the snow in the mountains between here and New York, and it usually kind of peters out or turns into rain by the time it gets to the coast. But not today. It's coming up from the south, and when they come up from the south, there's a lot more possibility of us getting snow here on the coast. Usually it's too warm because the Gulf Stream runs right along the eastern seaboard here, and so what happens is that the air in the ocean is actually much warmer, and so the cold air hits, and it doesn't really get cold enough to snow a lot here. Now, 3 years ago, there was a whole different story, but in normal years, it really doesn't snow that much. So today we are going to get a snowstorm, and it's probably going to be pretty much blizzard conditions later on this afternoon. It's perfectly fine. It's cloudy. It looks like it's going to snow right now, but there's no snow yet. It's not going to really happen until probably early afternoon. But we could get between 8 and 14 inches of snow, and from having nothing to 14 inches of snow, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So it'll be really pretty, and it's actually nice because it's a Saturday, so it really isn't going to impact travel at all. And it'll be really pretty down here in Old Town. So what I think I'd like to do is later on, when the snow starts, I'm going to try to go outside and film some of it, so you can see what it's like with the snow coming down here in Old Town, and walk down to the water, and hopefully be able to put that video in at the end. The other thing I'm going to do, we're going to have pizza tonight. We're having homemade pizza, so that's always a nice, good thing to have during a snowstorm. But the other thing I'm going to do is do a bread pudding. Now, I'm not a bread pudding fan. I will admit right from the start, I do not like this, but my husband loves it. And probably most people do. I don't know, texture thing or something for me. I'm not a big fan of bread pudding, but my husband loves it. And I have this really great recipe for bread pudding in the crock pot. There's nothing better than a crock pot. I have to say, nothing better. And this makes a delicious, delicious dessert that he loves. And then he gets the whole crock pot full of it. He doesn't eat it all at once, of course, but he has it over a couple of days, and it's great because I'm not getting into it at all. It's all his. But this is really, but it's really great. And it looks like this is how I keep my recipes. And I know we all do this. I got this out of a magazine, a crock pot magazine years ago, and it's like splattered and crunched and killed. But boy, if I ever lose this, I'm in deep trouble. But what I think I'll do, it's really easy. You just use brown sugar and butter and eggs and vanilla extract or a little whiskey, cinnamon, some nutmeg, milk, and some stale bread. I usually use cinnamon bread in this. We have lots of frozen cinnamon bread, and so that's usually what I do. It adds that little extra excitement of the raisins in there as well. But I think what I'll do is I'll put this recipe up in the Ravelry group along with the podcast, because it's really delicious. If you have a crock pot, it is super easy. If you like this kind of thing, it is super easy. It is super, super delicious. And we'll scoop it out and serve it with some whipped cream, and he's in heaven for the next couple of days. So it's really great, and it's a really nice thing. It'll smell really nice. That the apartment will smell of nutmeg and cinnamon this afternoon, so that'll be really, really cozy too. As the snow is falling. So that should be nice. So thanks for joining me today. I'm very happy to have you. Please feel free to contact me. I love to have, to contact people and to hear from everyone on Instagram and on the Ravelry group. I haven't been able to go to my knitting group recently, and the only reason is just because of my commute right now. I'm taking public transportation, so I usually don't get back to Marblehead till 6:30, maybe 20 of 7. And it's just been a little bit crazy for the first month and a half, just trying to figure all that out. And I haven't made it a couple of times. I've tried to go, or was thinking about going, and it got raining, and I have to drive. I just don't like driving in the rain at night, so it's been a little bit crazy. But I really want to get back to it, and I'm hoping to either this Wednesday or next Wednesday get back to that too, because that really makes, I miss my knitting ladies, and it really makes a difference. It's really fun. It's really fun to go and kind of get that, that personal contact that we all like. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So hopefully I'll be able to talk a little bit about that the next time as well. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. This has been great. I actually have a new phone too, so I'm not running out of space either, which is a delight. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to talking to you next time. And remember, it's just knitting. Out on a walk. It is snowing crazy. Snow is in my face. Let's go see what it looks like. Snow's fine. I'm going back in. Look at me. There's so much snow out here, and it's really cold. All right, bye. See you next time.